Good morning. I'm here with Tony, and at the talk at PFRE last year, when Tony was talking about composition, he mentioned a phrase called implied space, and it's a very fancy term, but it's something that it's that I really want to get. I really wanted to get more information about. So, since I actually have Tony with me, I get to ask Tony. Tony, what's implied space?
Well, implied space is really, it speaks to the concept of getting around the desire to show everything in a scene. Because one of the dangers of doing that is that the wider you go to show all elements in the scene, all pieces of furniture in the room that we're shooting, the wider that we go, the stuff at the corners and on the edges of the frame, because of our wide angle lens, becomes disproportionately skewed. They become larger, they become distorted, and it affects the quality of the photo. So this concept of implied space, which is one of the first things that I learned 100 years ago, probably from Scott Hargis, when I started shooting real estate. It's the notion that we don't have to show the entire end table beside a bed for the viewer to know that an end table is there. So in essence, we are implying, if we're only showing 18 inches of a 30-inch end table, we can, the viewer can infer, or we are implying that the other 12 inches is somewhere off the edge of the frame. The viewer knows that it's there, so it allows us to zoom in to capture the more important elements in the middle of the scene, rather than trying to show everything on the edges and bringing wide-angle distortion into play. And I think you have a terrific photo to talk about this.
Yeah, let's show it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how most real estate photographers love to shoot. Ultra wide, and this is ultra wide, and it shows the hallway, it shows the living room, and this is two 17mm tilt shift lens images stitched together. So this is really, really wide. Tony, how many pictures do you see in this picture?
Oh my goodness, there, if you wanted to, there are probably at least 3 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens is there's only one good one. So.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that, yeah, because I mean, you've got your lens pointed at a spot, and I'm assuming that's where you want me to look.
Absolutely. And this is what I ended up with.
Yeah, see, that's a much better shot for a number of reasons.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, this is the whole thing about implied space, that, and I was saying it, when we started our video, when we try to shoot everything in a scene, when we go ultra wide, we're bringing a whole bunch of trouble into play. And in this particular scenario, where we have 3 distinct living spaces all mushed together, what do you want me to look at, right? I'm not sure it tells the most effective story. Whereas this photo here, your lens is pointed down this hallway. We see how functional it is with the sitting area, and we see a connection from indoor to outdoor living space. So, and we get rid of that big distorted French door on the left edge of the frame. So by zooming in, by we don't need to see the entire left door to know that there's a left door there. So by zooming in, or cropping in this case, it just comes out as a better photo. It allows you to tell a better story, Wayne.
Yeah. So here's also my thought is that when it's really wide like this, really our eyes are wandering all over the place.
Yeah.
And this particular shot, the reason why I liked it, and my whole purpose of this particular shot was, I really wanted you to see and feel the warmth of this room.
Yeah.
And I would want to sit there and I would want to relax there. So there's all that concentrated message in a nice, well composed image as opposed to trying to get everything into it. Because although this shows a lot, your eye really doesn't settle in any particular space when
Yeah.
it's really this wide.
Okay. So Wayne, I want to make a point now about telling a story. So I'm going to share something now. Okay.
Great.
So Wayne, this room, I think, really embodies this concept of telling the story and the importance of implied space. I don't need to show the entire billiard table, pool table to have the viewer know that this rec room has enough room to have a large billiard table there, right? We're telling the story of the room where we have a great rec center. We have a billiard table, a card table, seating area. We have a little fireplace here, and of course, it's all wrapped into this beautiful, beautiful view. If I wanted to show the part of the room that I'm currently in, I could always go to the other side of the room and look back, right? So
Yeah.
here we see exactly how much space. This is a huge, huge basement rec room with not only room for the pool table, but a couple of extra armchairs. And as I showed here in the previous photo, we have the context of this card table here. And here, I don't have to show all of it because I've already shown it in a previous photo. But just to give context, I'm showing bits of it. I'm implying that the rest of it is off the screen. So that's what we mean by implied space. And this is why using and leveraging implied space is one of, boy, it's a top tier compositional technique. And if you use it well, my goodness, it'll improve your compositions really, really quickly.
Yeah, and go back to your first image.
This one here, yeah.
One of the things about implied space also from our last video is it works because we know roughly how big a pool table is.
Yeah.
So what happens is just showing the corner, we know that that's a very large object, and it shows it in relationship to the room properly. Because if we step back and have it an ultra wide angle, you'd have this aircraft carrier size foreground.
Yeah.
And again, that would make the room much farther away than it really is. So yeah. Implied space.
That's the key. And if you want to improve your compositions, if this is not technique number one, it's 1A. It's right up there. So I think that's it for now, Wayne.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for taking the time to view these videos. We hope you'll join us for our next one.
And I'll put our contact information if you want to get a hold of us or want to suggest a topic.
Terrific. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.